Alright, welcome back to another episode of Overwatch. Alright, welcome back to another episode of Vainglory, playing some Alpha CP jungle. I've actually started to really like Alpha in the jungle, depending on who I'm going against, obviously. Blind play is a little bit more risky for me, but in a draft mode situation, Alpha, when picked properly, is immense. Her damage potential is pretty high late game, and then her survivability early game, if built right, is really strong because basically she gets a full second life bar for the most part, give or take, after she reboots. And she's just really hard to take down overall. So what I'm doing here in this particular match is I am building defensively in the beginning. I don't know if I see this a lot. I tend to see more offensive type of alphas in the beginning. But the whole concept behind building defensive alpha is the fact that you're going to out-survive the enemy junglers and be able to get your reboot without dying in the process. Which essentially makes you tanky as heck. So here we are. We are out-surviving the alpha. We do put her in reboot, but she does get it just barely. So now we got to try to take her out again. What we do. Finn goes down. Luckily, I go in my reboot, and Glaive comes down and peels for me, allowing the reboot to finish. And now we just refocus on the Ringo, taking him out, going for the Lance next. It's looking really good. We're 3-0. So you can see there, like the defense, or the defensive items is really, really handy. Even though Alpha is weapon power, I guess that little bit of shield did have some effect towards the Ringo, who is CP. But later on, it's more apparent once I get my my armor here. I did stay a little too long. It was very unfortunate. I tried to use the minions to get away, but it was just too long, or too far away. But yeah, so that was unfortunate. I should have backed out. I really underestimated the life of the minions opposed to my damage output. But here we are. So we got a little bit of damage. We got a crystal bit. We started some damage, but we primarily wanted to get that light armor against the alpha. We're not going to really sell the light shield because we're going to build into an Aegis eventually as well. We do want to have our reflex block up in case we need to later on for the Ringo ults. But yeah, so here we are. Going to be farming it up. Damage, like I said, is really low overall, unless like you're in a fight where her damage does excel quite a bit if you use your A properly. Meaning you want to get your stacks on your B and then use your A primarily. Not every situation allows for that, but for the most part, that's what you want to shoot for, is getting the stacks and then using your A. So I have 2 stacks right now. There is my third. Now we can go ahead and use our A, doing some pretty good damage there. She does get her reboot, but we managed to pick her off, luckily. And the Lance again. Oh, here goes the Ringo. Luckily, he's out of energy, so he can't do a whole lot. We are going to pick up the Lance, do some damage to the Ringo, and then we're going to go ahead and back down and get our jungle. No reason to chase because he's just going to sit on his turret, and we're just going to take turret shots and die. So at this point, we're deciding, do we want to invade fully? And I said, well, Alpha is down her reboot, and I'm not. And I have that heal coming up right now, so we're pushing. We're going to be bullies right now. So you can see here, we're already doing better than Alpha. I'm higher health than her. She doesn't have reboot. I do. Lance is trying to do everything he can to keep me off of her. And now we're just going to redirect our attention to Lance for a moment. And then we're actually going to pick up some minions there, too. At that point, I wanted to pick up whatever I could in case the situation arises where we can't pick up somebody. But we do pick up the Alpha, and then finally pick off the Lance here. Looking freaking good. The armor is really coming in handy. Knowing how to fight against another Alpha is really useful too, because she was down reboot, and I'm not. So I have an advantage. I have an immense amount of more health than she does. But yeah, so now we're gonna go down, get our items here. Probably get a second tier coat of plates. Get a little bit more damage here. We're doing good. We're surviving pretty well, so I'm thinking we can sacrifice a bit of our gold for offensive items rather than just go full defensive. Our first primary item we're going to get as far as offensive items is Aftershock. After that, it's going to be Broken Myth, and then finally Alternating Current. Now, the order is really up to you guys. That's the order I like. I'm not saying it's right. I don't main Alpha CP jungle, but I tend to just go sheer amount of burst. That was an accident by Smack Daddy. He even said, like, oh, my bad. We are in comms, by the way, during this particular moment. I actually messed up my recording. I reset my computer, and then when my computer resets, it goes into the setting where like it uses a wrong source for my output from my headphones, and so it doesn't broadcast anything to me. But it wasn't an issue because normally I don't really care. I don't really listen to my game when I'm recording, so I didn't really know that it was doing that. Well, when I was recording their audio, it doesn't record anything because it's recording the wrong source when I reset my computer. So it messed up their audio. That's why they're not having audio. That's why it's not just a live commentary type of video. It's me doing an analysis because I messed it up. So here we are, getting we got coated plates. I want to prioritize getting defense against the alpha potentially, but I was like, you know what? We'll start building towards the Ringo because the alpha isn't much of an issue so far. I do normally recommend focusing on a singular item. So if you're going for defense for, you know, the metal jacket, get your metal jacket tier 3 rather than do a bunch of different precursors. But in this situation, we're doing really well, and I was just like, whatever, it's fine. Alright, so we're doing some good damage to these guys too. He really has to back out, unfortunately, so we're just going to go ahead and take farm. Take the regen. If you guys hear noise in the background, that is my son playing on his little device there. So I do apologize, but I'm trying to get this recording in while he's awake too, so. Looks like the glaive comes in to take out the Ringo. No, but we do pick up the lance. We're going to go ahead and put the alpha in reboots. I'm going to pick up the Ringo because he did extend close enough to where I was at. And the alpha is going to get away because there's really no point to us chasing. She'll just go to turret and we won't be able to take her out. But she is down reboots. That's really good. So now we can take farm safely. We don't have to worry about it being taken by anybody. If alpha shows up, we're just going to turn around and just wreck her face. And she doesn't have reboots, so she shouldn't come towards us. As far as my abilities and my point allocation, I generally go max A and max ultimate with CP. If I'm weapon power, I generally max A and B. I don't really care for the ultimate damage on the, on the ultimate. So I generally go A, B for weapon power, A, C for CP. Again, the alpha, I don't know why she's fighting without her reboot. She should be really safe and not really fight with us or against us without her reboot. That's the biggest thing about alpha is you're the best when you have reboot because you can be the most confident and you have the most versatility in terms of your abilities too, with your health being maxed, or not health, your reboot being up. It allows you to use your ultimate in dire situations, which actually at CP is really devastating. It's like basically nuking an entire team if you all get caught out in it. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and continue to get our farm. We're doing pretty good. I don't really know what's the ideal CS for jungle, but I think we're doing fine because we are taking some jungle ourselves. You can see here, I didn't overdrive my B. I am starting to put points into my A now. I really want to get that overdrive on that. It increases the extension on it, the damage overall. It's just overall, it just makes that ability that much more stronger. So we're not going to get, like I said, our offensive items first. We're primarily working on our defense items. I could have got Aftershock, but my big concern is being able to survive, or out-survive, I should say, the enemy. So we got the metal jacket working on our ages, and like you can see here, like even though I don't have a lot of offensive items, I'm still doing an immense amount of damage with that A as long as I get my stacks. And generally in a fight, after you use your A1, you're gonna have enough stacks to use that A at full damage again right after, as long as you're doing the fight right. So here we are. This is a really long, drawn-out fight here. I'm using my items as much as I can to survive. Going to use my... Oh, didn't get a chance to use my ultimate. We got punted in the process of trying to hit our ultimate, so that was unfortunate. But it's alright. The alpha is going to go ahead and use her reboots in her ultimate, but hits nobody. Now we're just going to do some damage as we can. I'm going to try to do as much damage while Glaive comes down to assist. Lance is almost dead. Here comes an ultimate from Ringo, though. Here we go. Got the Lance. Now it's just the alpha. Here's a really long, drawn-out fight here. I missed my A on the Ringo, but we do pick him up. Alpha is trying her best to get the Glaive, and she does get him. Here's the longest fight of the century, guys. This is Weapon Power Alpha versus CP Alpha, and no one is dying. It's just our regen is nasty. Mainly the weapon power. Her regen's a little bit better than mine. But I have burstier damage, I guess you would say. But yeah, it's still going. And Finn's like on his way. He's like, I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming. And I actually am on the brink of losing this. But the clutch freaking renewal allows us to win. And then the clutch renewal on the enemy alpha. Oh my god, dude. This fight is so freaking drawn out. It's ridiculous. Now I'm going to use my ultimate. We don't get anybody, which is unfortunate, but I don't die because I have defense up the ass like crazy right now. Going to go ahead and get the Ringo. And then finally the Lance is going to get away because he's just going to roll out. Glaive does go for the chase, but can't quite secure him. So now we're going to just get items here. Or not items. We're going to get the backs. We were all like just laughing about that. It was like, Jesus, that was the longest fight ever. The double clutch renewals, one on each side. It was ridiculous. There we go. Good job. Good job, Rumbly. Getting them farms. Alright, there we go. We have to be careful here because the Lance is here. We don't get the regen either, so we just want to back out. He's telling me, just get out, I'll die, and then, you know, you just get out. And I was like, okay. So I try to back out, but they are chasing pretty hard. Luckily, Glaive is on his way, so we don't really have to worry about me completely getting caught up by myself. I just ran towards the direction of Glaive so that Glaive can assist. And now, we're looking good because our reboot should be up in a second. There we go. Our reboot is up. We are going to get out. Now we're just going to go ahead and use our reboot to get full health. I don't know if that was the best choice of reboot there, but whatever. So now we're going to go ahead and focus on the Ringo. Ringo is the weakest currently right now. Alpha's reboot's down, but Ringo is nasty in terms of damage. So we're going to go ahead and try to take him out. But it's just taking forever. My god, that renewal. It's just causing the fight to take that much longer. Here we are again, focusing on the Ringo. We're going to die, so now we're going to want to get out. We're going to boots out because we don't want to die. We don't have our reboot anymore. We're only about 1/3 the way done for that. At this point, we need to disengage. They're winning that fight. I'm going to go in and bounce. We got 1,400 gold. I'm going to go finish off my Aegis probably. Oh, no, maybe not. I guess we're getting some items towards our Aftershock. I think the biggest thing, yeah, that's right. So I remember what I was talking about at this point. As I was saying, I think I'm surviving just fine. It's a damage output, so I'm going to start focusing on getting my Aftershock at this point now. My damage output is starting to be a trouble. And so to rectify that, we need to get Aftershock. After getting Aftershock, we get Broken Myth, and then we get Alternating Current. Now, like I said, some people do like Alternating Current a little earlier, which is completely fine. It's up to you how your playstyle is, and I wouldn't say it's worse or better. I just say that it's, you know, personal preference. But yeah. But what I was doing this particular match is I thought I was working, so I was just going to keep going with it. I don't get any kind of attack speed till way later. Alright, so we're getting ready for a fight here. We got our Aftershock. We're going to get a little bit more damage there. Got another crystal bit. So like I said, we're focusing on getting some offensive power now. Because we have enough survivability. We have the metal jacket. We have most of the precursors to the Aegis. Or both of them, actually. So I'm 9-1-5. That's pretty good. I think that, you know, all that survivability is really paying off because it allows me to whip out the damage I do regardless, while still being able to, you know, survive and not die. We're winning the trade so far. Nice pulls by the Finn here. And the Ringo does go down. Alpha is going to go into reboot. No, not quite. Well, now she does. She's using her ultimate. We aren't going to get the Alpha, though, because it just... that reboot takes forever. Alright, so we are taking a lot of damage now. We could do some pretty good damage against him because we have an Aftershock, but overall we do want to be very careful of how we're going to do this. He's asking me, are we diving? Are we diving? And I was like, well, no, I missed, so probably not. But yeah, here we are. I'm going in for the dive. Gonna get her. There it is. And then I'm going to just boots, not boots out, but use my ultimate to get out. And then I'm going to stand right here, and Ringo takes the full brunt of the damage and tries to ult me, which is not the best choice of abilities there. And then we're going to go ahead and pick off the Ringo. Oh, there it is. And then boots out. Whew, survivability is crazy with Alpha. Pretty fun, I must admit. I actually did not like Alpha back in the day. I thought she was kind of like meh, but now she's pretty strong. I like the way she plays. I think it's really fun to be able to reboot and just, well, not get our CS because Lance takes it, but whatever. It's just, she's just really fun. The ability to survive or out-survive almost anybody is crazy, especially with all this defensive power. Alright, looks like Glaive is going to be going... Oh, I remember this. I missed this next A right here. I was anticipating maybe she was going to back out, and I was completely wrong, which is very unfortunate, but it's alright. Very nice. And then we put her in a reboot. That's really good. I'm going to go ahead and probably start to focus on the Ringo here. Well, missed my A. So here we go. Here's the Ringo focus. Nice, nice damage. Do we get him? No, we don't. The pole or whatever it was from Lance, or whoever it was, prevented me from getting the Ringo. But we do get the Alpha, so that was good. Ringo's stutter step is on point. There was like no stutter stepping in that Ringo right there. Maybe he just thought he would do enough damage just by default. Here, I don't really want to die because I'm going to take a ton of turret shots here. Like 2 more and I probably would have died. Maybe 3 at max. Now we're just going to focus on getting the turrets. Get objectives over just getting farm in the jungle. Alright, so I'm going to probably try to get the backs maybe. No, I think maybe I was just poking to see if it was there. Alright, so now we got our ages. Yeah. No, we get our boots. That's right. No, we get our ages. Okay, we do get our ages. And then we're still, again, working towards some more offensive power. Going to be getting that broken myth next, hopefully to ramp up our damage for long extended fights. Wolf there trying to give me the heal there. A lot of times people just take farm. It's always best to give the person with the lowest health the regen farm. Even if, you know, you feel like you really want that money. It's better off to get your teammate healed off. Ringo just barely gets away here too. That boots and then the stun. I was like, oh god, whatever. Let's go to Alpha, whatever. Looks like Glaive is going to the Ringo. Alpha is going to go ahead and go into reboot. Nothing I can do there. Now we can go ahead and try to take him out though. We got some pretty good offensive power, so we should be able to do pretty good damage here overall. Oh, nice. The Finn quibbles are just substantial. Like they're like half the reason why I survive, or just half the reason why we win fights. Oh, almost. Tried to go for the grab, but we couldn't get him. Yeah, no chasing. Turret's gonna take us out if we keep chasing. Nice, getting that farm. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that the A does not affect lane minions. It only affects jungle minions. I always forget that. I don't know why. Alright, so at this point, SmackDight is telling us like we should just back out. I think someone's like probably charging their way through lane to get to you, to kill you. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right. So we're backing out. We're 14-1-77, or 14-1-6. Yeah, 77 assists. 14-1 and 6. Doing pretty good. We're going to get the regen to heal off. Finn at this point is just tanking a little bit more for me because I'm taking some pretty nasty damage. My damage output isn't so great for farming right now. The minions are getting tankier, and my damage isn't scaling properly with it. So yeah, that kind of sucks, but it's alright. Luckily, we're healed off for the most part. We got 1,700 gold. Probably going to get that... yeah, the precursor to Broken Myth. Get some boots to have some run speed so we can chase or run away, whatever it may be. Alright, start getting those stacks on those bees. Nice pull, nice pull. Gonna focus on Ringo if I can. There we go, Ringo is down. Now focus on the Alpha. Alpha is down on her reboot, so we can go ahead and just take her out. There it is. And then finally the Lance. We're gonna go ahead and dive this sucker. Get some. Alright, we're taking some pretty nasty turret shots, but I think we should be able to manage. Just barely. We're taking so many turret shots. Blocked it. Polite company. But we survived. That's all that matters. Alpha is unstoppable. So yeah, I definitely feel like the tankier Alpha in the beginning is the way to go. Just to like out-survive the enemy, because they're going to do way more damage with their ability kits. Or with their kits. But yeah. Alpha is down on a reboot, so we could do some pretty nasty damage here. But I am pretty close to dead. So we do need to be careful. He did renew me, so we can go ahead and do some pretty nasty damage ourselves right now. Are we going to get it? Oh, barely missed. She barely just avoided it. But we are going to take out the Ringo. Oh, yes, we are. Ringo is dead. No, he has a renewal. But we do pick him off, maybe. Just barely. He's just barely surviving. And then finally, the grab from Finn, allowing us to secure that kill. Heck yeah. At this point, we're deciding, should we push or should we get Kraken? I think at this point, I'm telling them we should just get Kraken. And, you know, the Finn said, you know, Smack Daddy said he didn't have a lot of energy too, so we're like, yeah, let's get Kraken. We don't have the energy to support the type of fight, so. I'm gonna go and get my Broken Myth. Do we have enough for an infusion? No, we're gonna go ahead and get something else. I don't know what I got. Oh, we got attack speed. We got a Blazing Salvo. So we're working towards that alternating current now, which is better for a sustained fight. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and try to poke on the left-hand side just to see if they're there. There we go. Yep, they're not there. They're going to flare right before we get it. There it is. Alright, going to do some nasty damage to the Lance here. The Aftershock on Lance is, like, crazy good. Look at that damage. He's already, like, 1/3 health down. Alpha is caught out, which is great. She does block my A, unfortunately. A grab. All this crit damage from Glaive. I'm just doing what I can as far as damage, doing that AoE. Lance goes down, and finally the Alpha follows suit, and this is game. God. I don't know. I feel like the Finn Alpha is a really good combo. Or anything with the stun. Mainly Finn because he has AoE stun, which allows my timer on my my reboot to finish. But yeah, it was nasty. And then along with the Glaive too. Glaive's potential damage with his crit is substantial as well. Alright, so there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed Weapon Power, no, CP Power, CP, Crystal Power Alpha in the jungle. We went primarily tanky Alpha and then went into our offensive power late game. 18-1-9, 4-4-18 for the Finn, and then 9-5-10 for the Glaive. We had great synergy. I think it was really well. But yeah, try it out. Let me know what you guys think about tanky Alpha, which goes into offensive later on. Works with Weapon Power too. You get like a Sorrow Blade, Breaking Point, and then potentially a Bone Saw in the end. But yeah, let me know. I'll see you guys next time. Later!